I, Vedanti Kohli, would like to introduce you all to our today's webinar session of remarkable speakers. Introduction to Crafting in Transformative Information, Episode 3, presented by Planotech Media House. Crafting Transformative Information. Get ready for an unforgettable experience.
Akshara Damle, who is the founder of Manu Sambada, a psychologist, a graphologist, NLP coach, and an amazing speaker. Welcome, Akshara.
Thank you.
Today,
Thank you.
he would like to be presenting us on a very important topic, that is mindset. Over to you, Akshara.
Thank you so much for a very kind introduction. And the previous session was very interesting. In fact, I got to learn a lot. And in fact, since I do a lot of systemic interventions, I had a lot of things to learn from Dr. Sujaya. Thanks for sharing a very informative talk, Dr. Sujaya. And today I'm going to talk about mindset. Before starting, I would like to ask you all 2-3 questions. You can all respond in the chat box, so that don't unmute yourself, just respond on the chat box so that it becomes interactive. First question is, how many of you are upset or were upset about the lockdown? You can say yes or no, one of the two answers. Can you all type yes? Okay. No. Okay. We have a mix of responses. All right. Second question is, how many of you are worried about the future because of the current uncertainties? The second question, I repeat, how many of you are worried about the future because of the uncertainties? Okay. There is a good mix of people saying yes and no. And the third question is, how many of you have been experiencing some kind of psychological distress? For example, fear, anxiety, panic attack, and so on. Okay. All right. Yes. There is there is a mix of all this. Then the question further is, do you think all these things are happening in the mind? Yes. Okay. Then where is the mind? Is it in your brain, or is it somewhere else in your body? This is the question that I would like to take you all with, because it's important for us to understand, where is this mind? So sometimes when you feel extremely fearful, do you feel it in your stomach or abdominal region? When you are threatened, do you feel it in your limbs, maybe in your hands and legs? So basically, the mind is occupying various positions in our body, and it's not just in the brain, right? Right. So mind is always moving, and it's all over. It's present. That is why there is the mind and body are single entity. It's not two different entities. They are intertwined with each other. Then what is mindset? Is it a general attitude of a person and their fixed ideas about certain things, situations, and other people? Yeah. So that is generally called as mindset. But here today I am breaking this topic, breaking this word as well. So it is not just mindset that I'm talking about, but also setting the mind, or mind being set. So let me give you two examples. A parent who is worried about son, about his future, what will happen to his education, and so on. And another parent who has already started training his child with multiple things, like multiple skills. There is an entrepreneur cribbing about the situation, especially the economy has gone down, and another person who is trying to find opportunities in the crisis. which of the mindsets is right in the two scenarios? In the first case, it's a parent who is worried about his child and his education further because there is lockdown. And second is, there is a parent who has already started teaching few other skills to his child. And in the second case, an entrepreneur who is worried about the present situation, and another type of entrepreneur who is trying to find opportunities in the present situation. Who or which mindset is the right mindset? Okay. In both the cases, is it the second one? If an entrepreneur is trying to find the opportunities, that appears to be the right mindset. If the parent has already started teaching his child, maybe son or daughter, with multiple skills apart from the academic education, then he appears to be in the right frame of mind. But I have few more questions to ask. Is it wrong to be worried? Is it wrong to feel vulnerable? Or is it a mistake of somebody if he or she feels anxious? Wonderful. Wonderful. I appreciate all your responses, that we have started acknowledging that it is not wrong to feel vulnerable, it is not wrong to be worried, and it is also not wrong to commit certain mistakes. Wonderful. Benjamin Barber, who is a sociologist, has divided the category of people based on the mindset as learners and non-learners. So there is another standard category, growth mindset and the fixed mindset, which I'm not touching upon because there's a lot of people who have already talked about it. And more than that, I associate myself with this categorization, that is learners and non-learners. Say, who is a learner? Somebody who learns things in the crisis situation or whenever he commits mistake. So what is learning all about? It's not just about recognizing the mistakes or recognizing the situation or recognizing the negativity, but trying to learn from those negativities or trying to learn from those mistakes and overcoming those mistakes. For example, I am sure all of you or most of you have watched the movie on Milkha Singh. In one of the tournaments, he commits a mistake and misses the gold medal, and then he starts working harder on his mistakes and then becomes a great champion. Say recently we have been, I mean, at least I have been watching a series of Mahabharata, and in Virat Parva, I happened to listen to this question by Uttara Kumara. I'm sure most of you can relate these characters to Arjuna. That don't you think that you didn't deserve all this, because Arjuna was uh, had taken the character of a transgender and a dance teacher in the Viratas in that situation. So the Uttara asks, "Don't you feel that you didn't deserve?" Then Arjuna gives a very wonderful answer that, look, it's not that. I mean, I don't feel any guilty for doing this, because of our story, the whole world will know that getting into gambling is not a good idea. It can lead to any kind of distress and difficult situation for you. So he saw a positive thing in his distress or in his difficult times. So that is the mindset that we need to build upon. Oh, okay. Now, what are the benefits of right mindset? Right mindset, through right mindset, we learn a lot of things from our own life and also from others. That helps us in improvising ourselves from what we were. The second thing is, we will grow every moment. Whenever we are in the right frame of mind, in the right mindset, we will grow every moment. We will try to improvise ourselves throughout. We will be able to sail through difficult times in an easier way. It's Does it mean that just if you have the right mindset, you will not face any difficulty per se? But even in the difficult situations, difficult times, you will be able to sail through it in a better way. The further benefit is we will not get stuck with the negative aspects. We will not fall into a kitchen. Matlab, we will not fall into certain dungeon and then we will not be stuck there. We will be able to come out of it and perform better or rejuvenate and build resilience in us. So our resilience will be much better if we have the right mindset. Then the question comes whether having right mindset refers to staying positive always. Can you respond? Whether having a right mindset refers to having positive, being positive always? No. So the answer is both no and yes. Being positive always may not be the right mindset. When situations are not in favor, when things are going bad, even if you say that no, no, things are happening well, things are going good, I am doing fine, I am all right, I am happy, and all those things, then what is that you are doing? That is, you are actually suppressing your negative emotions and you are denying the reality. So that is why being positive is not the right mindset. Right mindset has a different meaning altogether. So one has to experience all kinds of emotions, whether it is negative, whether it is depressive, whether it is disappointing, or it is encouraging, it is exciting, it is enthusiastic. So every kind of emotion has to be experienced in the fullest. But right mindset people will always reflect back on whatever they are doing and then get back to the track. So that is one of the prime characters that I see in people who have right mindset. And at the same time, the people who are with right mindset will also be careful whenever success comes to them. They know how to handle the success. A lot of people find it very difficult to handle success whenever it comes to them. And at the same time, I would also mention that those who are those who are successful need not have the right mindset, but how they deal with the success will show if they have the right mindset or not. Okay, with all this, I would like to also touch upon why what is the role of psychologist and life coach in bringing right mindset in the people. So when we look at our society, a lot of people have this taboo that if somebody approaches a psychologist or a psychiatrist, then they will be labeled as mental patients or mental, yet pagal. Yes, sir. I say all these words do come or get labeled on them. However, this is not the case. I would recommend that everyone in this world will need a psychologist in one or other time. So what do we do as psychologists or life coaches? That we actually engage with the individual and try to bring awareness about what is their pattern, what are the common mistakes that they have been doing, and how they can reflect back on their own issues. So psychologists are the ones who will facilitate people to get into their own issues and see their issues in multiple perspective. The process would also help in rectifying your mindset. Say many times it is our mindset that has caused the problem. It is our ego that has caused the problem. So it is our attitude that might have caused or might be the cause of the problem. So having right mindset will enhance the way you approach the issue. So being the founder of Manav Samvada, I would like to speak a few words about what we do in our organization. Say what apart from counseling and psychotherapy as well as life coaching, we also work with entrepreneurs and leaders to facilitate them to get a clarity about themselves and also about the system that they are working. It will also help in developing a better understanding about the system I'm talking about the human system, and a better understanding about each of the members of the system. That means each of the employees in their organization. It will also help in addressing interpersonal issues, conflicts in the organization, and also help in addressing the attrition rates whenever it comes to enterprises or startups. And it will also help in streamlining the system so that it moves smoothly. And recognizing the barriers and solving strategies to overcome these barriers is something that we do at individual levels. Apart from that, we also work with organizations at a larger group level, where we try to address systemic issues, and we try to work on changing mindset of the towards working, and by working at the subconscious level. And we also try to provide simple and practical tools to deal with the issues, which becomes very, very handy for people, and they accept it and they utilize it in their daily life. And through all this, we are trying to transform people by making them to dive deep into their own self and reflect upon them and understand, get a better understanding of themselves. So with this note, I would like to uh, suggest you all that get your mindset right so that your life becomes easier, your life becomes smoother, and you will enjoy your life in a much better way. Thank you. I'm open for questions.
Okay. Sir, the first question would be, as you said that there are so many people who term the word psychology as taboo. So
Yes.
how was it for you when you started the journey?
That's an interesting question. So, yes, a lot of people do call me and say that, look, my somebody, so and so, my whether it is my son, whether it's my daughter or father, has some issue, and we want to get it treated from you. But at the same time, it will be difficult for us to tell them that I'm taking you to a psychologist. So I'll tell them that I'm taking to a friend of mine, and we'll meet him somewhere, and then you talk to him further. So that is how people try to come up with different terminologies or kind of relations when it comes to bringing people to the psychologist. And I have also acknowledged, or I have agreed to play that role, because at the end of the day, for me, addressing the issue is more important, not the role per se. Later on, we will try to bring that boundary between a counselor and a client. However, initially there will be some kind of rapport building that is happening through different role playing. So yes, it is a very big issue even today in India. I mean, a lot of people still say. I mean, I have a friend who was a friend with me for. I mean, he she was a friend for last couple of years, but and she has been observing my work, but she was not ready to come and say that, look, I am suffering from depression for last 1 year. So when it was unbearable, then she turned to me and said, look, can you help me out? So taboo has to be dealt in a different way.
So there is a next question, which is like there is subconscious and conscious mind. So how
Yes.
do we use it for the real actual purpose of like thing?
Well, unconscious is a huge repository of our experiences. Say, even when we say that we forget a lot of things, uh, actually a lot of things are stored, or most of the things, or everything is stored in the unconscious. Only thing is we don't have the retrieval cues, so we don't remember them. Now, utilizing our subconscious and unconscious in our daily life is, if you are fixing your goals or your uh, attitude in the unconscious, then it happens to work in this conscious. So it's all about addressing the fixations, addressing the conflicts that are happening in the unconscious and subconscious, so that they give much more energy to the conscious. So unconscious has a lot of energy in it, and many times you might have observed that whenever we are in a difficult situation, most of the reactions come from unconscious. If you have suppressed a lot of negative emotion towards somebody in a very difficult circumstance, all those negative emotions will come out. So it is always better if you address these issues in your subconscious and unconscious, specifically with the help of a professional, and then utilize this power or this energy to your conscious, then it will help you in very big way.
Okay, thank you. Sir, the next question is there is a wide difference between a manic person, anxiety, depression, bipolar. Everything is virtually different.
Yes.
So, how do you manage with people with having such like different mindset actually?
Well, what what I do is, I mean, I'm talking for the work that I do. What I do is, whichever the issue is, whether it is mania, whether it is depression, or whether it is bipolar, or whether it is anything else, anxiety, fear, or anything else. What I generally do is, I listen to the story of the client and then try to find out the root cause of it. So basically, calming down is something that we do, and rapport building is something again has to happen in any psychological circumstances or counseling situation. But apart from that, my primary focus will be on finding the root cause of the issue. So if that is addressed, then this is a kind of a consequence or a symptom that is being visible to us. But if you are addressing the root cause, certainly you are solving the issue in a better way.
Actually, one more question is there. That is,
Yeah.
PSTD, post-traumatic syndrome, is actually a different and wide angle for
Yes.
that perspective. But uh, there are certain things which cannot be. It is a past. You cannot change it. So,
Right.
in that case, how do you help them to change or overcome that past issue that they have?
This is very relevant question for the present time, because a lot of people, I mean, we presume or we are witnessing people are going to have PTSD in the coming days because of the corona
Yes.
pandemic. Yes, it is true that the situation or the incident has already happened and we cannot go back, and revisiting it makes us more vulnerable and more anxious. So what we generally do is, I mean, therapeutic techniques I cannot discuss here because it's individualistic, but in generally I'm saying that what we try to do is we try to make the person feel peace with the situation. If there is a trauma that has happened, then certainly we will try to make peace with the situation so that person slowly overcomes this stress that is causing because of the trauma, and then moves on.
Okay. There is one more question.
Sure.
That see, as you said, this is a COVID phase, and after it, after some time, when people will face that unemployability and everything, etc., there would be a phase where anxiety, depression would be on another level, and people would, general people, have the tendency that due to these fears and everything, they try to commit self harm, suicide, etc. So,
Yes.
is there some quick note that you would like to share with us so that these people could stop themselves from right now itself?
Sure. One of the general advice that I give to everyone, include I have given this advice to myself as well, that diversify yourself as much as possible. See, don't stick to one sector or one type of work. Try to diversify yourself. If you still have to stick to one kind of work, still at the same time try to diversify your skills so that you will be able to uh, face the situation in a better way. It is the principle of ecology that as much as diversity is there, then certainly the survival is better. So the same case applies for every individual. So once you diversify yourself, certainly you will be able to handle the situation in a better way. Second thing, even after doing all those things, if you still face anxiety, depression, and say job loss and other psychological issues, certainly there are helplines that are working for benefit of you. So please feel free to reach out to them so that you will be able to address them. And at the same time, we also need to accept the realities, say accept what the situation is, and then we may also have to reduce the consumption, we may also have to reduce our expenditures. So multiple things will have to be done, but at the same time, any kind of mental vulnerability, please reach out to the professionals. They will be able to help you out. and it will has that all those issues have to be worked in an individualistic manner, and certainly you will be able to get benefit out of it.
Thank you, sir. It was such a phenomenal lesson, and we did learn, we did see what mindset actually is. And
Thank you.
the thing is, mindset is everything. If you think you can do it,
Absolutely.
you'll do it. If you're not, you need to work upon yourself.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so
With
much.
these, I
Yeah.
with these, I would like to move forward with our next speaker for today. That is Dilip Patel, who is a learning facilitator trainer and a certified Zentangle teacher. Welcome, Dilip. He is here with us to guide on the topic Zentangle as an art therapy. Over to you, Dilip.
Yep. Am I visible? Because I find here that my video is not switched on, and it says that you have switched it off.
No, you are
Start
not
my
visible.
video.
Yes.
Now I think it must be coming on. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. What a fantastic situation for me, because I would not have asked for a better speaker before me, who made my process quite easy. In fact, I myself am also a counselor, and I train people for counseling, and therefore I think it's wonderful that Akshara spoke before me. I'm quite happy to be here with in the company of the TEDx speakers, who bring in their expertise, topics of expertise to the audiences. And I'm going to talk about something related, an art therapy, a new kind of art which is working as a therapy. Now, the word therapy would mean that in the physiotherapy, that would be psychotherapy. And Akshara spoke about the psychotherapies, rather to go towards that. And what I'm going to speak about is a small little bit portion, which is before you create your mindset and the situation which has put you into a difficult situation, how to get out of that situation. So let's look at first thing first. I mean, all the speakers would love to watch or look at their listeners, their audience. And in this new condition, new situation, I can't see any of them. So let me make my guess. Maybe I have in my audience some of the students, maybe school students, college students, university students, maybe teachers, maybe educators. Now for them, this therapy has something wonderful to learn from. You can create focus, you can create your concentration, and you can expand um, you can expand your attention span, which is shrinking nowadays because of so many diversions happening. I am also presuming that there are working men and women, because of the lockdown, some people may be still not going to work. Many people are working from home, and a huge number of population can come under this category: the government, non-government, the corporates, the education departments, the service sector, and most of us, we have to work for our livelihood. So working people. Now, what is in it for them? The stress management. And especially during this period, practically everybody is under stress. And Akshara brought it out very clearly that this could be even PTSD. Uh, Problems are going to be there because we are entering into a new era. This period will be known as a pre-COVID era and post-COVID, and there is no finishing line for COVID, so we will not know what is going to happen. So a lot of anxiety will be there. The working people can get their effectiveness using this regularly, this therapy of Zentangle. They can come out of the low feeling that may be generally being created, and the COVID has definitely created that situation for everybody. So then I'm hoping that there are some non-working people also, because we may have homemakers, we may have ladies who do not go to work, and they may have a lot of free time, and many a time that time gets wasted or get lost in front of the TV, or maybe the social media takes up a lot of time, and it keeps your mind disturbed. So this Zentangle, practicing Zentangle could help them to move away from the TV, away from the social media, and then they can build up their self-esteem, they can build up their confidence. I also presume that there could be some elderly people, retired people like me. And these people have a problem that they normally live their life after retirement into the past, or they go into their future anxieties. And both are detrimental to their mental health. We would like to bring them into the present moment, and Zentangle art can definitely do that. I've got so many examples in that. And finally, there could be some people who are sick and convalescing, because when they are convalescing, they need to recover fast. And if their mind is not worried about, not under anxiety mode, then perhaps their recovery can become faster. This will be also true for the people who are in the COVID positive people who are probably into the confinements, and they can also use this process. So the question will come that many of us may reject even this idea of art as a therapy, because most of us believe that I can't draw, I can't paint. Perhaps our school teachers, school art teachers are to be blamed. Because it happened with me when I was probably 10, 11. And my art teacher said, you simply can't draw. Now this became a life sentence for me. And I did not draw for 45, 50 years. Only when I learned Zentangle and became a certified Zentangle teacher, this sentence was removed. Then I realized that this, in the early childhood, whenever somebody puts such sentences on us, positive, it's very good, but there are negative, restrictive, then it becomes a block for us. We start believing in that, and then we need to unblock or change that belief, then only we can come out of this. So I'm sure that today I might be able to bring many of you who believe that you cannot draw, you'll come out of this sentence, okay? So let's look at it then, therefore, that why do you think that this kind of situation does not require you to learn any artistic requirement? I mean, normally one would associate with this word art that you need to learn under some artists. There are 5-year courses, there are various other long-term courses, and here I am using the same word, art therapy, and I'm saying you don't need to have any such background. If you can only hold a pen firmly in your hand, and if you can make simple strokes like a dot, a straight line, it can be horizontal, vertical, slant, short one, long one, or you can draw a curved line, maybe clockwise, maybe anti-clockwise, small, big, whatever, and perhaps a small little island where you begin and you come back to the same place. If these 4 or 5 elements, which I call them as the alphabets of Zentangle, if you're able to do this, then you're in. You can learn this, and you can learn it very easily. And there are a good number of certified Zentangle teachers now available in our country who can help you in a right way, because what may be coming to your mind is that how can this simple art form actually work in a psychotherapy manner? I'm sure you also would have got some kind of curiosity that what exactly is this Zentangle? Can I have a look at it? So I want to share my screen, and let's see whether you can come to this. I would like to show you some PowerPoint presentation, and here it is. Can you see the slide on your screen? Can somebody tell me a cue that yes, it is visible?
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Okay. So I just want all the people who can see, who are listening to this, spend few moments, look at them, and just find out that whether these 4 or 5 elements that I was talking about, the alphabets, are they the building blocks of these artworks? Can you see that there are some dots being used in some of the, I'm just moving the cursor, there are some circles, dots being used. There are straight lines being used. If you can see, there are straight lines here. My cursor is moving around. There are curved lines in so many places, of course. These are straight lines. And then there are some uh, circles as well as non-circle shape, but they are closed loops. And what you are seeing is that they are somehow put into some kind of a structured manner. Now we all have got an experience of doodling. In the school days, we would have been doodling. Our last pages of the notebooks would be full of this blue color, and um, we might have sort of been rejected by our teachers or scolded, so we do it clandestinely. But let me tell you that each one of us does doodling. Your teachers also do doodling, and even today, we all do doodling. Whenever I'm picking up a phone and my hand goes onto the piece of paper, and with a pen, I start scribbling or doodling. And Zentangle actually has migrated from that doodling, which is an unconscious process, to a very conscious process and very potent process. So this is what we train when we train people to learn this lovely art form, as to how does this really work, and how do you get onto the cusp of the conscious and unconscious. I think somebody had put that question to Akshara just now, some time back. And when you work on this cusp, it's a very powerful state. You can extract from the unconscious whatever you need to, and you will not be detracted in the conscious mind where the mind can run away. You can create your focus, you can create your concentration. So how is it meditative? Now, it's not that what is getting drawn is meditation, but it is actually the process of drawing these Zentangles is meditative. Let me just give you a small example of, whenever you buy a ballpoint pen, you must be going, selecting it. You must be deciding that this is the one you want to buy. And then before you give money and collect this pen in your hand, you are doing small little act. On a pad of paper, which the shopkeeper kept it on his desk there, you will do some scribbling. Now, is it important as to what gets scribbled, or the process of scribbling is important? I'm sure you all will agree with me that what gets scribbled, you don't even look at it. You don't even remember what you've scribbled. Your hand simply moves and it picks up from the subconscious part and it does some kind of a marking on the paper. Now, there's a scribbling. So what gets scribbled is not important, but the process is very important. You want to just check out whether it works or not. The inking is happening or not. So likewise, Zentangle, the process of creating Zentangle is important, because it is in the process that you get into the meditative state of mind. Now, why meditative state of mind? Because it's now known world over. In the last 56 years, the Western world has acknowledged and accepted that meditation is one of the best processes to help us out, to come out of all kinds of situations and create a better mindset. And therefore, people are prescribed to do the meditation. The problem is meditation is not all that simple. So Zentangle, because I have been a certified teacher and I've been working with this for the last 8 years, and then many more people are knowing, and thousands of people are working on this, they will accept that the creators have created this Zentangle process in such a way that it becomes easier to create the mindset which is meditative in nature. Now, very simple but very profound definition given for meditation is the non-judgmental witnessing is meditation, said Osho. Now, non-judgmental witnessing, very powerful two necessities. You have to be non-judgmental and you have to be witnessing. Our mind works like a monkey. It picks up a small little cue and starts running around all over. If I simply ask you right now that whose wedding did you attend recently, and I'm sure your mind has already jumped up, it has moved into the past, it has gone to the different locations in the world, and you are instantly brought out from your subconscious mind, from your memories, the person whose wedding that you attended. Not only that, probably what all things happened at that time, what kind of food was served, what kind of gifts were being given, what kind of clothing were there, what kind of decoration was there, and so on and so on and so forth. So the mind is very difficult to hold on to. And if you're to be a meditative person, then you have to make sure that your mind becomes still. And so the Zentangle creators, they worked on that in a beautiful way, that they blocked some of the pathways from where the mind could escape. And one of them is that anything known to your mind, the mind can quickly run. If I simply say Gala Gala, you don't know what is Gala Gala. So your mind has not gone away anywhere. Like it went away for looking at the wedding and whose wedding do you attend and all that. So likewise, if you can block the pathways in the process that the mind does not know where to move on, then it remains with you. Then it can become your tamed servant, and then you can direct your mind, which is a very powerful tool given to us, to very meaningful activities. So if you see in this picture, it does not give you any specific known picture, known figure. Though of course the mind will still be searching around. It may say that, look, there is something like a cloud somewhere, there is some flower, there is some kind of shapes I am seeing. But then these are resemblances happening in your mind is searching and searching and searching. So when we are teaching Zentangle, and we actually spend a little more time on this aspect, that how some of the processes which have been created and some of the rules which have been created can help you to not to let your mind run around. And therefore, once you surrender to those processes, and we teach in great length during the processes, then you are able to simply create beauty on the piece of paper without even your knowledge that you are creating beauty. You create something which is a abstract art, but as I said, that is not your purpose. That is only the bonus. While doing that process, you are passing through these processes of 20 minutes of Zentangle. If you do on a daily basis, then you are actually doing 20 minutes of meditation. And you will be able to create such and many more much better outcomes of the Zentangle. And so that's the magic, as I said, is not in the final picture, but it is in the process. And let's look at the proof of this, because every time somebody looks at and says, what's the proof? Now, I don't think you have piece of paper and pen right now, but you can try this little later. What I've done is I've just given you 1 minute exercise, a small 1 square inch area. Randomly, I've drawn one circle, as you can see my cursor on this. And your exercise is going to be that you will sit calmly, and then you will pick up a pen, not even pencil, and directly draw such a small little island, and then you fill up that with circles of small and big different sizes at random. Only condition is that those circles should not cross with each other, and you should reduce your speed to half, because many times, circle being a very known subject to most of us, we simply become very mechanical. So put your eyes onto the tip of your pen, and then you fill up that space the way I filled it up in the third one, and it should not take more than a minute and a half. And then you will realize that your mind was there with you. You were focusing. There are no other thoughts coming to you except that you have to draw these circles and that they do not cross each other. So actually you are in meditative state of mind. And if you can expand this for 20 minutes, 25 minutes on a daily basis, then you are doing a daily meditation for yourself. And this meditation, this art form meditation, does not even require you to have any kind of a ritual or the religious bindings. Which means that anybody can do this without any kind of feeling that this is not of my religion. How can I do this? I do not know these rituals. So this is a wonderful art form, and those who are doing regular meditation, if they start doing this, then their meditation will become deeper and they'll be able to really get benefits of our meditation. So this is not, I'm not saying this is a replacement. Those who are not doing at all, they can begin with this and then they can slowly get into the meditation. And those who are already doing it, this may help them to enhance their meditative experiences. So this is a small exercise. I would suggest that you should do it sometime later. But let me tell you that when we teach this process to people, now what you're seeing on your screen are the very first, the maiden creations. Those people who have not got any artistic background, they all have created, and this each piece of art is on a 3.5 inch by 3.5 inch, roughly about 9 by 9 square centimeters. So that much space is good enough for you to spend about 20-25 minutes to work on Zentangle, and you can create. And in this, you will find that there are about 3 or 4 patterns that they have been taught. All these 3 or 4 patterns which have been taught are simple, and they are using all the 4 alphabets or 5 alphabets that I spoke about. And all these alphabets are actually known to you. In fact, you are not being taught anything new in this because you already know how to draw the imperfect lines. And in Zentangle, we do not teach you perfect lines. For that, you have to go to the art schools and work for 5 years. Here, you can start drawing imperfect lines because you already know how to draw imperfect lines. And each of these pieces, you'll find that they all become so beautiful, not because they are very perfectly drawn, but because the nature itself tells you that the nature itself shows a lot of imperfection. Look at any tree. Are all the leaves exactly similar? No. They look similar, but they are not exactly same. And that is what makes the beauty. And so it's very, very easy to learn Zentangle, and anybody can learn, as I said. And these are our creators of Zentangle in USA, Rick Roberts and Maria Thomas. Very quick introduction. Rick Roberts had spent 17 years in a Hindu ashram, though he was a young man, young Christian man, and learned deep meditation. He was even teaching meditation to others. He was giving pravachanas. He had come to India and spent some more time in the Himalayas, some ashrams, and he speaks Hindi. So he knew the impact of meditation very well. And Maria was a born artist. As a young girl, at the age of 6 or 7, she would draw these various lovely things on the piece of stones picked up from the railway tracks, and then she would go to the Sunday church bazaars and sell. So she grew up to become one of the fine artists in USA, and especially the handwritings using the calligraphy. She does a lot of lovely things. And both of them, though they were from the same village, they grew up separately, and then they come back together in their early 50s. They divorce their respective spouses, and they have come together probably to give birth to Zentangle. And the whole world is really, really enjoying this process. So let me come back to now the other experiences that we have had. What you're seeing on the screen is 265 young students, bright students picked up from Bihar and UP. An NGO is grooming them to be able to compete in the IIT exams, entrance exams, JEE exams, also the AIMS exams. They are all bright students, but they did not have the wherewithal. And so when they are being coached right from morning 6:30 to night 10 o'clock, they get into a tremendous amount of stresses. So somebody known to us requested us that, can you help them out? And so here we go, and we spent about a day with them, and we have created a 21 days of booklet for them, and we gave it to them all. And believe me, after 15 days, when we got the feedback, many of them said, look, sir, we are able to get our stresses out very quickly. Somebody who was not able to get sleep in the night, therefore he will not be able to spend in the morning time in the class. He says, about 15 minutes I'm doing Zentangle before sleeping, and I get good sleep. So what really happens is, your mind is going in overdrive. It's something like you're going on a high speed car, fifth gear, 140 kilometers on a expressway. And then suddenly you realize that after about 5 kilometers or so, you have to take a right turn or a left turn. And so you simply cannot apply brakes. You have to go to the neutral gear. You have to reduce the speed slowly. Going to the lower gears, you can probably do that, and slowly you can come down. And then at an appropriate speed, you can take a right turn after or a left turn after looking at your rear view mirror. Now, when you are in anxiety, when you are disturbed about some certain things, your mind is in the fifth gear. And you simply cannot control those thoughts. They are the same thoughts going round and round and round, and probably you don't know what to do at that moment. You need to come out of that. And at that stage, if you have learned Zentangle, I can assure you that within 10 minutes time, you just start working on your piece of paper, and in 10 minutes time, you are in a neutral gear. Your thinking capacity returns. You are able to now think properly. And as Akshara was talking about the mindset creation, you can start working on that. So instantly, this can give you gratification once you have learned it well, of course. And it can give you a long-term benefits if you are regularly doing this on a daily basis as meditation or as a practice. Then in that case, some people who have got a tendency to get angry very easily, get upset very easily, they can have a better control on that. They can build their patience. Some people may have the issues of being always negative thinking, and they can start having a positive thoughts being built up. They can actually take a turnaround. And so many benefits they can get if they can regularly do this practice. It's a very fun-filled practice. You see on the bottom here in the picture, there are, I think these are all the students and students of post-graduation psychology and graduation, and some of the teachers of a university in Coimbatore, which is exclusively training the girls. And we had a lovely time, 2 days we spent with them. And now this, what you're seeing here is corporate world, Reliance. And we spent 2 days with a good number of them. And I would like to show you a small little video. I hope it works here, so that how in a corporate world one can learn. Is the video visible, Janvi? Can you just say yes to me?
Not yet.
It's already working on my screen.
It's
What
not
are you seeing on the screen?
the picture, the last picture.
So this is not working on your screen. Is pause, it says. So you want me to go live? Let me stop then. If it is not working, let me go back to the picture. And what are you seeing on the screen, Janvi?
The screen is not safe, sir.
I can see you.
Screen is not there?
No.
You're seeing me only?
Yes.
Okay, that means I have to again share my screen once again, or what? Because let me share the screen again and come to this. I share now. Let's see whether, are you able to see the video? Yes, Janvi?
Sir, it's still not visible.
Not visible. Okay, so I think I have to.
Yeah, now it's
go
visible.
video.
It's visible now.
It's visible. So let me just switch on again. Is it visible?
Yes.
Okay, so we had a fun time, and through fun, a lot of them learned this because they would like to build up teams, they would like to have harmony within them, and Zentangle can be a very fun-filled activity which can connect them at a subconscious level. They can build the camaraderie with them, and some of the games that we had designed using the Zentangle could make them, a good teamwork. So corporate world can get benefited, and quite a few corporate people have invited us, and we have taken sessions with them to help them to overcome their stresses. Their whole day they are doing the same thing repeatedly, so they can get a diversion, and it works very, very interestingly very well. in a fun-filled way. And you saw that we had spent about 2 hours each with 2 batches on 2 days, and they come up with amazing results. And that can be done by each one of you. So let me end the video with this. Building great teams and harmony is possible using this kind of interventions, and then there are a lot of benefits. So you can tame your mind using Zentangle. And so now you are able to see me, right?
Yes.
Okay, I have to share the screen again to see what is left out. I'm new to this, using this process work on Zoom, so you have to, but I have to go to the next. So here, this is some small family setups. Can you see these slides?
Yes.
Okay. The small families, and sometimes some families, they spend time with the husband, wife, children together when they work on that, and they had great fun. And particularly in the pandemic lockdown situation, even it can bond them together. In the home, there were a lot of crowd otherwise happening. So, and then bottom you saw that there was a flat in which they had invited us, and then we had spent time with them. This one was, yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you, but
Yeah.
we are having a time niche. So with that said, if we could end this session.
I'm coming to the close.
Okay.
This was in USA. We had spent time with the people who were in the rehab center, the alcoholics and the psycho people, the drug addicts, and they had great time. 2.5 hours they spent, and they could felt very, very comfortable using this, and this can be used as a therapy. The ladies can be spent when they have got free time in the afternoon, and beyond the therapy work. And if you beyond therapy, you can create beautiful pieces of art, as you see that, with little bit, we call it as a study. I mean, the known shapes filled up with these rectangles. This I had created for fundraising for the purpose of cancer in USA. And these are the creations by my students along with me, which are donning the walls of the Intel, 22 feet by 10 feet walls. This is a wall. And of course, they have to work with the computer to expand it. And they themselves become very, very meaningful because the people just stand in front of them, and because meditative for them, the mindset can be changed. And so that is where I come to an end. Thank you very much. If there are any questions, I am here to take them. And I would suggest people to find out the certified Zenva teachers in their vicinity to learn from. They'll teach you the right things. And otherwise, the technique is learnable by anybody, but the philosophy behind is very important. So, yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Patel. It was such a phenomenal lesson that yes, art can be a solace. And in that sense, kudos to the art that it could not only create concentration more in our work, but could also give us a sense of relief from certain thoughts that are working in our mind. Thank you.
Thank you.
With this said, I would like to call upon our next speaker, Nilay Jaiswal, who is a summer intern at Pidilite Industries Limited and IIM Kozhikode, and the founder of Code Binary Initiatives. Welcome, Nilay. Today, he is here with us to present on the topic individual social responsibility. Over to you, Nilay. Thank you.
Hi, Janvi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, so to be very honest, I didn't prepare anything for this because, yes, as I'm doing an internship, so I'm really sorry for that. And lots and lots of congratulations to all of the people who spoke before me. And to me, all of you are inspiration to me. And to put it through why, because I'm just a 23-year-old person. Okay, I'm still doing my studies. I have not yet completed it. I have not yet worked even a single year in a corporate and all. So it might be that there are millions and trillions of things for me to see in the coming years. But what I can tell you today is how these 23 years of my life has been, and how did I came to found this organization called Code Binary Initiatives. And meanwhile, I'm doing all of this. You can just go to LinkedIn and search with my name and link, so you can have an overall idea of what my background has been. So, to be really honest, I would like to start with a question. So, did you guys any point of time felt that maybe that small act of kindness, if I would have done that, then I could have saved a life, or I could have saved a person from going into the well of darkness and everything? Do you feel that? So, why I'm asking you is that in this world, whatever I have seen in this past 23 years, each and every person has a lot of regrets. These regrets, at majority of these regrets pretend to something that at some point of time you could have done something, but you didn't. It might be possible that it was not in your hands, but when things got better, did you act on it? So if the answer is yes, and you acted on each and everything possible in your life, and congratulations, you are socially responsible, and you have done most of the great things in your life. But I know majority of the answers would be no, if I consider the population and everything. Because if the answer would have been majorly yes, the world have been a better place, comparatively better place than what I see today. So my topic is individual social responsibility, right? And what do I understand with this? Like, what do I understand when I say that someone is socially responsible? So this term individual social responsibility is quite different from the term called corporate social responsibility. So in ISR, we deal with the things that when you do an act of kindness, when you have person who are around you, it might be your father, your mother, your daughter, your grandparents, your teachers, your professors, your students, anyone. So if you have done something for them, then yes, you have done something which was being socially responsible individual. So I cannot teach you guys like the first thing is I am very young to comment on each and anything, but also I cannot teach you how to be responsible. To be very honest, no one can. Even your parents, your grandparents, your professors, teachers can only tell you that, okay, son, okay, daughter, this is the thing that you must do. But acting upon that and doing that thing really depends upon you. So I'm not going to teach you how to be individually responsible. I'm not going to tell you what to do, because we cannot force a responsibility. So for me, responsibility is something that you voluntarily take as a commitment, as a mission, and that's how you fulfill it. That's what becomes the objective of your life. So sorry if I'm going here and there, but I'm going to give you a number of instances from my life where where others showed their social responsibility towards me, and when I got independence, when I got some sort of independence, and how did I decided to reflect upon that and help people with the same thing. So giving you a small background, so I was born in the foothills of Nepal. I started my pre-elementary education in the boarding schools of Nepal, Kathmandu. And then I moved to Delhi with my parents in 2004, and I completed the rest of the education in Delhi. I completed my undergraduation from Jammu and Kashmir, and I am doing my post graduation from Kerala. So it's like I have been to places, and between all of these, I have like covered 23 states and a few union territories also. But the question is, what did I gain from going to all of these places, either voluntarily or either my life took me to these places? So, it's not, sometimes when we talk about a problem, we say, यार India में तो ऐसा ही होता है. But to be really honest, some problems are for the world. Like if we talk about harassment, sexual harassment, if we talk about acid attacks, if we talk about robbery or any small crime, it's happening around the world. You cannot say, okay, this state is bad, you feel unsafe in this state, and you cannot like drive and influence that others are safe. The world is somewhat unsafe because what I feel that people might have not considered their individual social responsibility at a point of time. So the first instance in my life when I realized that someone did something. So I was in the 11th standard. I was completing my 11th standard and it was in Dwarka Sector 9, a school called IT Public School. So I have two elder brothers also. So my brothers, okay. So my brothers took computer science as the extra subject in 11th and 12th. But going on the same lines, when I took that subject, I was not scoring well. To be very honest, the tests used to be of 30 to 40 marks, and I could only score one-digit scores, okay, like 7 or 8 and 9. At that point of time, I felt that it might be that I'm really pathetic in understanding the dynamics of a computer and the C++ language and all. So after like 2 or 3 minor tests and like when half of my 11th standard was passed, I decided to, okay, I'm going to quit this subject and I'm going to take physical education because there's this notion that people score well in physical education. So I thought, okay, I'm going to take physical education. I'm going to leave this subject because I can't do this. So my teacher, Mrs. Neelam, so she came to know from someone that Neela is going to quit your subject and all. So I was walking to the office of the principal to just to tell my concern and all. So when I knocked on the door of the principal and I opened the door, I saw my teacher sitting inside the cabin of the principal. And she just told me to come and stand here. And in front of the principal, my teacher told me, okay, boy, like, if you are not getting into this, if you are not understanding this subject, it doesn't mean that you have to run through it. So, Aj, you have the option to quit. You can quit the subject and you can take something else. But life is not going to give you the option to quit. Now, what that teacher did to me was a social responsibility. Her responsibility towards a student to guide her, to guide him, to mentor him, and show the correct path. So that, and to be really honest, I completed my graduation as a computer science engineer. Yeah. So the subject from which I was running for 2 years of my life, I did graduation in that. And yes, I can say I was a very good engineer because I worked with a good number of companies across world. So yeah, till day I remember that small lecture maybe or the small thing that the teacher did to me. So this is something that she did. Now coming to the second instance, okay, so it's something very personal. Okay, so I have a mother, I have a father, I have two elder brothers, but to be very honest, I live with my father and the family is kind of separated and all. So there are problems in each and every house, okay? But the thing is, how you act to that problem is your decision. So why I chose the side of my father and why I chose to live with him and why I chose to fulfill his dreams was something that I did for a very personal reason. Because to be really honest, I don't see myself as a good son. Okay, and it's very hard to say in this webinar, but as I told you, I didn't prepare anything. But yeah, these things are something that are really close to my heart. So I never considered myself as a good son because I always I always used to fight with him. And if I remember the last two, when I was 11th and 12th standard, I didn't really talk to my father. And somehow I always thought that he is the bad person in the house. But a day came when I had to really hug him and tell him, okay, Dad, you are right. You're right. And I was in the most pathetic part of my life that I considered you wrong and everything. So that point of time was a small act of social responsibility that I like fulfilled towards my father. What I thought at that point of time. In my 23 years of life, I have seen two women. One woman is someone who is like today she's dead. But I would really like to tell you why she's dead. So when she was married, she was gang raped by her husband and a couple of his friends. And some days after that, like she kept quiet, she could not tell anyone. And one day she was burnt with acid and she died. At that point of time, I was in ninth standard. And it was a really shocking thing for us. And the most pathetic thing which I felt was I cannot do anything at that point of time. The person is gone. I cannot help her. I cannot do anything. I wanted to do this. And the second woman in my life, I would not tell that she was a victim, rather I would use the word survivor. She was survivor of an incident of sexual harassment, and today she is leading a quite stable life. But to be really honest, when I came to know that something like this happened to her, again the same case, I could not do anything. I had this regret in my mind. Why cannot I do anything? But it might be to the 100 and 130 people who are watching this or listening this. It might be in their life also that there was some incident and you could not do anything. But let me ask you today: do you think that you're capable today, and do you think that you can act on it? If you cannot save that person's life at that point of time, do you think that you can save other persons who might have gone through this, who might have gone through a trauma, a depression, or anything? So, Code Binary Initiatives as an organization was founded with this motive only. We are going to help people. This first of all, this organization doesn't have a billion dollar idea. We do not have a good business model. Actually, there's no business model. And if I aim to explain this company in short is about we help people first, and second, we help people to help other people. In this organization, we incubate NGOs. Yeah, you might never have heard of incubation for NGOs, but yeah, we incubate NGOs, we incubate startups that are focused on dealing with problems which are focused on the social development goals. And there are a collection of startups, schools, institutions for which we are working with. And it was out of that sense of individual social responsibility that I felt that now if I'm independent, now if I have done my graduation, and now if I can do something, why shouldn't I? And this organization has been in the place for past 2 years. We have helped around 50,000 people. We have helped around 20,000 families. We have provided a good internship experiences, and everything to round about 10,000 students. And currently it's a team of 200 working people. You would be shocked to know that all of us 200 are unpaid. Because Code Binary is a social enterprise. So whatever we earn, we just forward it to the society. We invest, we donate, we buy something and give something. So that was my act of the individual social responsibility. I founded an organization in which I can bring more people who feel that yes, they want to do something for the society. And this is how I came to it. And so now the question is, I talked about the two women in my life. What is my responsibility and what I'm doing for them? So after this organization, I'm currently working on a project, and the project name is Kahani. So that project aims to make a women forum in which doctors, psychiatrists, counselors, influencers, and lawyers, each and every stakeholder which can contribute to people who have survived from the most heinous crimes. Maybe it's a male or a female or a child. We are building a network and a forum for them. So that's the latest act that I have reflected upon my individual social responsibility. I'm working on that. So that's a very short talk on my 23 years old experience if I talk about individual social responsibility, and I acted through it. So that would be all, to be very honest. And I just want to people to understand that yes, you have to do something. You have to do something at some point of time, because you cannot evade, because else your life will be full of regrets. That's all.
Thank you, Nilay. It was such a huge lesson, because everyone nowadays need a change, has that want or that desire that they need a revolution, but no one is working on it. And congratulations, I must say, for giving this opportunity to all other people also, so they could work upon it and come forward and actually help those people who need it. With that said, I would like to thank each and everyone present over here. I would like to thank Sujaya ma'am for teaching us that one movement can make a difference, but together we can rock the world. Thank you, ma'am. I would like to thank Akshara for telling us that mindset is everything, and we should rather maintain that abundance of mindset amidst of scarcity. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Now, I would like to thank Dilip sir for sharing knowledge of Zentangle and telling us and teaching us basically that art is something beyond our knowledge, and the beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder. So it's all about you, your perspective, that all matters towards this session.
Thank you.
Lastly, I would like to thank Nilay Jaiswal sir for stating that yes, young people today want to see the change. They want a better world. But the actual thing is, they themselves need to work upon it. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks a lot.
With these, I would also like to thank Planotech Media House for providing us such a platform where we could share and come forward to discuss and change or exchange our skills that we personally have to all the other people and share it. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Bye. Be safe, everybody. Take care.
Bye-bye.